is up, everybody? My name is CJ alongside Cody, and we are from the sidelines here on Sports Fluent media pages from our YouTube, Twitter, X. Make sure you follow them there as well to keep it locked here from the sidelines every Sunday at 8 p.m. ish, you can say. But we talk NFL every single week, and obviously we're really right around the corner. Training camps are opening up this week, and there's been some fun news we can talk about this week, and it's also going to be breaking down a bit of the some of these lists that came out this week about you know the top players at these positions: quarterback, wide receiver, running back. I think corners came out as well. Linebackers came out. So I'm pretty sure more. I don't know if any more will come out in terms of like these lists or whatever, but we will break down what has already been out there. But I guess we can kind of. I guess where should we start at? Let's just start with some news of stuff that broke this past week. Um, let's see. What do you think? Where do you think we should start, Cody?
I'm good with whatever. I mean, we could do the player rankings, or you have the biggest news I think from this week was T.J. Watt. I thought that was going to kind of linger into training camp, and he was probably going to hold out. But I mean, he gets paid big time, and like maybe a little bit of an overpay, like we talked about in the text there. But that surprised me. So maybe you'd like to start there, but I'm down for whatever.
Yes. So TJ Watt got paid. He got the
Big
Brinks
time.
truck backed up to his house, and honestly, it was kind of like what's going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers
Right.
because I think the biggest thing that everyone's was trying to figure out is like the Steelers are making a lot of moves, maybe some way say even too much, too many moves, and paying players, giving players raises, and it's like where are the Pittsburgh Steelers getting all this money? And so this was very un-Pittsburgh like. And, TJ Watt gets 3 years, $123 million, which for a player who's older than Miles Garrett breaks how much Miles Garrett's making. Would you say this contract is deserved or a bit of like, interesting?
It's hard to say because I mean he has been a great player for them. He kind of fell off last. Still 11 and a half sacks. He had 19 the year before, so that was a big year for him. But still 11 and a half sacks. But I think it's deserved. But it's still I think it's an overpay. This is his third contract, so he's already gotten the big one after the rookie deal. So he got his big one 4 or 5 years ago, and now he's getting this one here. I think this was I don't know maybe just a desperation move for them because he saw that they pretty much had no leverage. They've been spending a lot more. They've been doing a lot of like unstealer like things throughout the offseason, spending big, trading for player, like trading for a corner, trading for wide receivers, things that the Steelers just haven't done in their history. So I think he kind of just told them. And I think if you look back at their record without him, they're like 1-10 without him. I know he hasn't missed a game in the last couple of years, but even when he wasn't there, like the team dropped off. So I think it's deserved by his career. But can you guarantee me he's got 12 sacks a year for the next 3 years? I can't see it. And that defense as a whole is getting older. You bring in Jalen Ramsey, who's older, and I don't know. We've talked about it in past shows. I feel like the Steelers are doing a lot of things that I don't know why they're doing them. They're getting a little bit desperate now. Maybe they're sick of being just that mediocre mid team that makes the playoffs every year. But it can get a lot worse than that, and maybe this year it does kind of fall off for them a little bit. So maybe it is deserved, but I still think it's an overpay just because of his age and the direction of the team.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely kind of been talking about the Steelers ad nauseum this offseason, which is kind of funny because I mean, this is unlike them, right?
Oh,
So,
big
but also like at the same time, it's like yeah, like he's done. He had a good career. Like he's probably borderline Hall of Famer. Um,
time.
and I just think that yeah, I think he's like 32. He's gonna be 32 this year, or 31.
31. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Hmm.
So it's like a guy who's older than Miles. Miles Garrett is 29, who's still producing 14 sacks a year. Obviously, with the
Right.
terrible team, you might be able to just do that. But I just think there was a lot. There was a bit of some controversy at the end of last year in terms of people scapegoating someone on the defense and some of the players kind of not liking someone on the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and there was a lot of speculation it was TJ. and maybe someone not paying their part in the run game. And so I don't know. I don't know, but we can move on from the Pittsburgh Steelers. But
Quick question though.
yeah.
Him or his brother? Who you taking if you have to
Oh,
take one?
JJ's 10 times better than TJ.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I'm taking JJ, no doubt. I just think he was more dominant of a player, especially that's the defensive tackle position versus defensive end. To have that much of an impact is crazy.
Well, plus, I mean, JJ had versatility. He could play
Yeah.
all over the defensive line, and I mean, and the amount like the defensive player of the years, and then also having, scoring touchdowns in the offense for his team as well.
Right.
So I think he was just a little bit more of a weapon. I think he was just a little bit more dominant. Like, don't get me wrong, TJ Watt is really good. Obviously, his knack of like stripping the football,
Mm-hmm.
and getting those forced fumbles was really
Right.
good. But I don't know. It's just it still feels. I'm not gonna say empty calories with him because I feel like that's like a little harsh. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's still something about TJ Watt that I'm just like I don't know. He does share the record for um, sacks in a single season. So it's like that adds
Yeah.
to the Hall of Fame resume. I think he already has over 100 sacks for his career. So obviously he probably will wind up being a Hall of Famer.
Right.
I guess the question now is how much is Micah Parsons going to get now?
Yeah, he's probably happy about that deal because he's what 6 years younger at least.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and this will be
production's been there too.
extension.
Yeah.
I saw rumors that they're looking to slot him around 45, and I'm like, bro, 45
Damn.
for a non-quarterback is
Dang.
crazy. It's good for the game, right? It's really good for
Yeah, yeah. But I think they're already giving CD like what 37, 38, something like
yeah,
that. So
they're giving Dak 60, so it's it's a lot of
big up.
money. But like again, like
Yeah.
if you think
Yeah.
about like your four pillars of like how do you want to build your offense, like you want to have like you need a lockdown corner, a great edge rusher, a really good. I mean, I guess you could say left tackle over receiver maybe left tackle. It used to be quarterback, left tackle, corner, edge rusher.
Right.
Like those would be your four pillars. So
Right.
obviously having, I mean, Diggs was that person that they were trying to really. I mean, they paid him, and so you got Diggs, Micah Parsons, Dak,
Yeah.
and then they did have Tyron Smith, but now they're trying to figure out between one of the Tylers,
Oh no, yeah, right.
and lock down that left tackle position. Which I mean, most of the all the Tylers on that offensive line haven't been paid, so that does help.
Right. Well, I think two of them are interior, right? Like one's a guard and one's a center, and then they got a
Tyler
tackle.
Smith, he's been rotating. Like I think he might be
Yeah.
better suited at guard. I think to kind of bulk up that interior. But he did play. He did swing out to the left tackle and play for them. Tyler Guyton.
Yeah, from Oklahoma. He's the tackle, right?
He played left tackle last year, but he was one of the most penalized offensive linemen last year in the league in terms of holding calls. So he definitely has a lot to clean up there in that department. I really like Tyler Guyton. I really wanted us to trade back up first last year to go get him. But then he didn't have the greatest year one, so we'll see how he develops.
Yeah. I think the knock on him coming out of Oklahoma was he was a bit of a project. Like he has the skills, just didn't play a ton or didn't have a lot of experience there. So I think once they get him just experience and get him out there, I think it'll be fine. And yeah, it'd be good to be along that other pieces on the. They seem to always have a pretty solid offensive line. So I don't think that's too much of an issue for them. I think I got plenty of other issues.
Yeah, it's definitely been their bread and butter because like they will always be put in a situation where everyone thinks that the Cowboys would go flashy, they will go star-studded, but then most of the time they just went. Actually, they said nah, like we're just gonna go best player available for what we needed. And a lot of times, like everyone they thought they were gonna go quarterback or flashy running back, they went offensive lineman. They went Tyler Booker this past year, and so like they just loved the name Tyler in terms of
right, no kidding.
Also, I think it's like they understood like, hey, we can establish our trenches and be dominant in a run game. Like I think that can ease a lot off of Dak and
big time.
Also, you can have an abundance of really solid backs. You don't necessarily need a a feature guy. So,
right.
So also today, what kind of broke was, I mean, it's not a major news, but you do have Noah Fant to get released from the
I saw
Seahawks
that. Yeah, I saw that.
thing. Which I mean, he's like I really liked him early on, but like
Right.
he just never really kind of showed out to
Right.
like what he could really be. And so I mean he was still serviceable, but like I don't know what I mean he's a decent blocker. I mean he's a big guy, you
He's a
know.
big guy. Yeah.
So I'm curious to see actually now who would be their starting tight end for the
Yeah, I was trying to think who would be their starting tight end because
oh
he was in the Russell Wilson trade, right?
yes. I want to say they drafted a tight end this year.
Did they?
I want to say that
Well, then he came out of, I mean,
yeah,
just the tight end factory in Iowa. You had Kittle, and then you had him, and what was it, Laporta, Hawkinson. So I thought he'd be pretty good, and he's been solid, but I don't know,
he's
maybe
never
the
yeah, he's solid but not great. They got Elijah Arroyo from Miami, which I like him a lot. Pretty
okay,
athletic.
okay.
They also
No,
got
I liked him too. They
Um,
also got who?
AJ Barner as their backup, Eric Serbert. So it's not super deep, but they're obviously they like their rookie a lot to be able to
Right.
just kind
Yeah,
of say, "Hey, here,
cut your veteran tight end. Yeah,
exactly." So
yeah,
really interesting move. Interesting move.
yeah. He could help someone. He could help a team that has as a complementary piece, be something decent for like a team that needs just another guy. Maybe be backup tight end to Kelsey or something like that in Kansas City. He could do something. I think he's good. He's solid, but I don't know. He just never lived up to the hype. I think he was a second round pick out of Iowa. He was fairly high.
I think I want to say he was a first round guy
Was it
because
first
I
round
think they
pick?
had both. I think Noah Fant. I think Noah Fant and Noah Fant was
Aiden
like top
Hawkinson.
10.
Yeah.
I think because him and who was the other one that got drafted that year?
Was he the same draft as Hawkinson? Was it him and Hawkinson?
They both got drafted the same year because they were like
Yeah.
highly recruited out of Iowa at the same time.
It's the only thing Iowa does good on offense is tight ends, basically. The rest of their offense
They
is
need to
pretty
invest in
bad.
quarterback
Yeah.
recruiting. That's been a.
Yeah.
I
Big
mean, he's
time.
still
It's
only
been real bad there.
27, so I mean,
He's
he's still
young.
decently young. Yeah, you
Yeah.
might be able to get something out of him if you kind of, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the first round pick.
He
I
was
think he was
first
like
round.
12. I'm pretty sure he was like 12, or he might have been top 10. I can't remember, but yeah, he was first round. It won't tell me the pick number. Oh, he was the 20th pick.
Okay. That's still that's high for a tight end though.
Yeah, and then obviously you got the debate of like, do you draft tight ends in the first round? Is there value in it? And which
Right.
I mean, especially when you got so many tight ends that are like that are succeeding in the league who are like fourth round, fifth round guys.
Right.
So it's like unless like they're truly elite, like obviously your Brocks and I mean Don Kincaid. I still think Don Kincaid was worth the pick, but last year was just odd. So like if I think he still is a stud, obviously because I have him on my fantasy team, so I'm hoping he can really kind of
Yeah. This is his prove it year for sure. Like he's gotta have a big year this year, especially because like they don't have a number one receiving threat. It's just kind of like, okay, is it going to be Keon Coleman? Is it going to be what's the other
Josh
slot?
Palmer,
Palmer?
Khalid,
Yeah,
Shakira.
Khalil Shakir, and then even Dawson Knox is still hanging around there. So it's like it's kind of just by committee. So
Yeah.
if he can,
I feel like he
he can
should
be
be on
big.
the bench tour, especially after dropping that like would have been like drive extender in the
Yeah,
playoffs. And which I mean,
yeah,
obviously that ball was like low, but like it was still catchable.
it was catchable.
So
Yeah,
it was so like obviously that's gonna weigh on him. So we'll see if the pressure is gonna
right.
be too much for him. But like when I watched him at Utah, man, like he was so
Yeah. Oh, he was
dynamic. He was so
dominant.
good.
Yeah,
15 catch games. Like he was that offense for Utah. Like when they needed a big catch, he was that guy.
okay.
So I really still think the talent's there. He's still young. I think
Yeah,
year 3 is really where you should start to see everything. And like
right.
the weapons like around Josh is so I'm not gonna disrespect, everybody, but like they're middle of the road and they expect, Josh to be the highlight and to elevate these guys, right? He's
Right.
the elevator for this talent. So
Right.
we shall see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
no, Kincaid was. I'm an SC fan, and he killed us both years. He killed in the game in Utah that he had like 18 catches and like 200 yards. It was unbelievable. So yeah, no, he's definitely got it in him, but you just got to take that next step.
for sure. Also getting paid today was George Karlaftis. He got a 4-year contract extension done with the Chiefs.
Yep.
Um, first round pick. I want to say about I guess 3 years ago, 3 4 years ago
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really solid. I think he just has one of those guys. He's a guy that just has like an engine. Like he just keeps going, and he keeps getting better every single year in that Cincinnati. Excuse me, not Cincinnati, Kansas City defense. And obviously now they got another pillar alongside Chris Jones.
Right.
And now that defense is starting to get older. I mean, it's still
Yep.
like in prime because they were like a really young defense for the last couple of years, but they've been
Right.
really good. And
Yeah.
George Karlaftis is definitely one of them, and they drafted really well. So
Yeah. Yeah. They've been kind of they extended him and Trey Smith this week, so they've been kind of doling out some money, and I think that's a good, like you said, Chris Jones is getting older. I don't know if he'll get another contract from Kansas City that he had to hold out the first game of the season 2 years ago just to get that contract. So it's probably his last contract with Kansas City. So yeah, you got to move forward with the young guys. And Karlaftis is like his stats aren't the greatest, but he's productive. He's very disruptive in games too, and he plays well in big games. And then, yeah, it works really well next to to Chris Jones. And then yeah, I like the Trey Smith signing. I think he's one of the better guards in the league. And so yeah, I mean the Chiefs just kind of keeping their guys and paying their younger guys and kind of moving forward with that group. They had, like you said, they had their three pillars of Mahomes, Chris Jones, and Kelsey. And that's probably going to be Mahomes going forward. And now they got to find their other pillars. So maybe
yeah,
they start with those two guys and go from there.
definitely have to figure out. I mean, obviously, I think Trey Smith would be one of those guys. Obviously, not that left tackle that they really covet.
Right.
Really
Right.
going to have to make sure that their tackle room this year is going to be sufficient because I mean, even though they still won 15 games last year,
Yeah. Right.
but
Right.
I just don't think that it will be sustainable to do it again. Right? It's going to be
No.
the negative regression there on that front. But yeah, they do have to find out. Like, I mean, Nick Bolton on that defense, that middle linebacker, I think
Yep.
definitely one of their key pieces. And then Trent McDuffie,
McDuffie. Yeah,
really,
he's solid.
really
Yeah.
good. Um, I think Rasheed Rice can possibly be that person. Obviously, getting his plea this week, pleading
Right.
to two third degree felony charges and got a 30-day jail sentence for 5 years of probation, which he
Right.
gets, spread out that 30 days in the next, what does it say? It say he can spread it out over the next like 5 years of his
Oh,
probation.
shit.
So
Jeez.
he can
That's
just do it
ridiculous. Yeah.
every other whatever. So
Right. But he'll probably get suspended. I'm guessing maybe like 4 games ish because of it. But
yeah,
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see. We shall
yeah,
see.
well, for sure. Yeah, with the Chiefs, I mean, I feel like I got to see it to believe it. Every year, I think they're going to fall off a little bit. And I really do feel like last year they kind of got like every break you could get to win those like the close games. You got the Chargers doing the double doink. You
Mm,
got the Raiders choking in the game. You got just Broncos missed a field goal to win the game. So it was just a lot of things went their way. I still think they'll be a solid team, but you have like outside on the offensive line outside of Trey Smith, you lose Joe Tooney. They trade him to Chicago. Like, who do you trust on that offensive line? You trust Trey Smith and you trust Humphrey, the center, and that's pretty much it. Creed Humphrey. That's pretty much like both your tackles are a question mark. You
yeah,
drafted one this year. You drafted one last year. They went and picked up, I think, Trent Williams backup to maybe start for them. So I don't know. There's a lot of question marks on the offensive line, and I think just one of these years, it's gonna, you can't just keep. One of these years is gonna hit them. Like there was years where the Patriots would barely make the playoffs and they get bounced in the first round. I think that's gonna happen one of these years to the Chiefs, where it's like they may sneak in, but they're not gonna be dominant. They're not gonna be the one seed, and it's gonna get them. But I guess we'll just have to believe it when we see it because it still hasn't happened yet. And I think every single year that Mahomes has started, he's played in the AFC Championship game. So that's pretty crazy.
that is pretty crazy actually. I think what was it was the one year. I think it was one year he lost to Joe Burrow.
Yeah, in the AFC Championship game though. Yeah.
Oh, right, that wasn't it. Damn, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they lost to Burrow. And I think and then he lost to Brady early on, and then he lost another AFC Championship game to somebody else, but I'm trying to remember.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
it's like yeah, every year he's still there. It's like the top 4 teams, and usually they're hosting the AFC Championship game too. So I think this could be the different year. I just got to see it to believe it. Um, but yeah, I mean, speaking of teams that kind of paid, what did you think about the Jets paying Sauce and Garrett Wilson?
It was definitely a tough. Like they had to. I would say that they had
Yeah,
to because I mean, obviously, like having 2 first round. I think they had 3 first round picks that year because I think Jermaine
I think
Johnson was
so.
also that year. So it's
Yeah,
one of those things where it's like, damn, we actually are suffering from success of drafting well.
right, right,
Um, they're a little bit more team friendly because I think they don't have as much money, excuse me, on the back end, which is good because
right,
you can kind of slot in some of that money where you're not paying so much to the quarterback with Justin Fields. Even though
right.
Justin Fields is getting about 20 million for the next 2 years, in
Yeah,
theory, he will be back up next year. So if
right,
everything works out the way the Jets want it to, and Justin Fields plays really well, like if Justin Fields has a really good year this year, say like 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, whatever, 5 to 10, rushing, like had like a really solid year, like a Baker Mayfield like resurgence, then it's
right,
like he should not play again under that same 2 year, $20 million contract. You're right.
right,
Like
right,
he should be looking for at least 40 million a year for the next 4 years to
right,
solidify himself as the next quarterback. So they have some flexibility, and then if it doesn't work out to be that guy, then you still got time because you're most likely going to be drafting a rookie quarterback. So then it doesn't
right,
hamper your cap too crazy. Obviously, then you're going to figure out if you're going to resign Jermaine Johnson or not, and then all
right,
the other young talent they have drafted. Um, yeah, like Garrett Wilson at 31 is like he's solid. Like he's had 1,000 yards every year he's been in the league, so it's like it's
right,
deserved. But it's like I guess we'll see if like his old college teammate can really bring the best out of him to be like really dumb.
right,
Because like I do think Garrett Wilson is a good receiver,
right. I do
but
too.
I don't. I I kind of going
Uh,
back and forth. I don't know if he's top 10. Like I don't even know if he's
yeah,
top 15.
I know. I've been on the fence with him the last couple of years, and I heard someone say it this week was like, but look, outside of Rodgers this year, and Rodgers and him didn't get along, so like he wasn't a top target for Rodgers, especially when Devontae Adams got there. But I mean, look at the quarterbacks that's thrown to him before that. You're looking like Mike White, Zach Wilson, and old Joe Flacco, just and random dudes, Tim Boyle and stuff like people like that. And he's still putting up numbers. So it's like, all right, you got to give him his props there. So yeah, I think he's probably somewhere from 12 to 15. I know the list that we're probably going to look at later, I think had him 10
Yeah.
on the wide receiver ranks. And I think that's a little high. But yeah, I think they just kind of paid him because he's paid his dues. They haven't really given him a stable quarterback. Rodgers was supposed to be that, and he wasn't really that, obviously. What I was also surprised, like Sauce had a good first 2 years, but like you saw this past year when they started throwing the flag more on him, like when he couldn't be as physical as he's kind of used to being,
A little
like
grab.
like his production kind of fell off. Like he wasn't that great this year. And so like you give him this big contract extension, like you're coming off his worst year. And I mean, they could have held these, none of these guys were going to hold out. It wasn't like they kind of paid both these guys early. You probably could have held on and seen what they did. Maybe if this continues to trend for Sauce Gardner. I mean, he was awesome first couple of years, but yeah, I think it's just the Jets. They're not used to drafting players and them still succeeding this well right off the bat. So I think they're going to reward these guys for being somewhat successful and being having hit on a couple draft picks at least.
Yeah, and there's all. I mean, that thing too is like you could wait, but then again, like the waiting game, it could be very
Yeah, it
messy.
could. It could totally backfire on you, and now you got to pay him more. Yeah,
Right. So I don't mind. Like I mean, I think 30, 31 for I think they both got 30. They both got like
yeah,
30 there. So I think in terms of for Garrett Wilson, I feel like that's a pretty good deal
yeah.
because I mean
I
it's not resetting the market money.
no,
Like, it's like top 5 in the wide receiver market, which I think is really good.
right,
And then Sauce, I think Sauce did reset the corner market, which is fine because in terms of accolades, he does have more. Like he has
Yeah.
all pros. He has more of that comparative to Garrett Wilson. So that makes sense for them to do that. So I think it's fine. Hopefully Olu can be their future left tackle, can solidify another pillar for them. They got their corner, they got the receiver. They just got to figure out if they got their quarterback, and they have a abundance of pass rushers. I don't know if they would
They do.
necessarily need a guy, but they just have a
Right.
platoon of just
They do.
dogs who can rush the
Yeah.
passer. So,
Yeah, they're very deep, both like interior and on the edge too. Like they're very deep. So yeah. And I think Quentin Williams is probably their number one guy, but I mean, yeah, like you said, there's 2, 3 guys there that can be disruptive.
very disruptive. I want to talk about the numbers for Koloskas. He got 40 years, 93 million, 62 guaranteed. So pretty good money. Pretty good
That's
money.
pretty good money. I mean, I feel like that's that's not going to reset. It's probably about middle of the pack with like edge rushers, but that's kind of where he is middle of the pack. So I think that's good.
He's a good game rusher that you need.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Detroit Lions because the Detroit Lions kind of suffered a big setback already to start the year. The injuries are already starting early for the Detroit Lions, and they lost one of their defensive tackles for the year, Levi Awanazurki. Probably
Yeah. I'm glad you read that and not me.
but yeah, he tore his ACL, and that's been confirmed. And then I think they also had their corner. Let me see. I just had it. Yeah, Enos Rakestraw Jr. left practice early today with an injury and is believed to be a chest contusion. So, yeah. So I don't know what's going on in Detroit. If Detroit has inherited that 49er bug of that injury bug that just, that keeps popping up for them.
Right.
Not a good start to this 2025 campaign.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and we don't know how healthy Aiden Hutchinson is going to return week 1 off the ACL injury.
Or
And
if.
they had if he even is there,
Yeah.
and they had a ton of injuries last year on the defense. I think they had like 8 of their 11 starters on week 1 got injured somewhere in the season. And then your center retires, who's been like the pillar of that offensive line along with Penei Sewell for a long time. So I think it's just a lot of question marks for the Lions. And yeah, obviously you lose your 2 coordinators, but the pressure is still there. Like people are still expecting like this. They're not expecting the same old Lions like, back in the day. They're expecting them to win the division and compete for, an NFC championship. So the pressure's still going to be there. They still, even with the injuries and the retirement, like still a very loaded roster at a lot of places. It's still like if they can stay healthy, a very good roster. And if Hutchinson can come back healthy, he could be, I thought he had the opportunity to be like a top 5 edge rusher going into last year until he got hurt. And maybe we'll see now, but yeah, it's a lot of question marks for Detroit and the pressure's still going to be on. What do the new coordinators look like? What does the defense look like? Because that's kind of what's killed them the last couple of years. The defense hasn't really been on par with the offense, even though I liked what Aaron Glenn did there. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But that division is going to be tough. It was tough last year. It's going to be tough again. So I think the Lions, as a team, I would probably fade a little bit this year.
Oh, for
I
sure.
want to say their over under is like 10.5. I want to say from looking at it last week. That's a number I'd probably stay away from. I'd probably take the under, but I would be a little hesitant because I mean, yeah, I would just stay away from them. But this is going to be interesting to see how they kind of turn over from last year and what they can do with all the kind of adversity they've dealt with this offseason as well.
Yeah, I see them being a scrappy team that kind of goes on a late run. I think they're going to start off pretty bad, just to try to figure out, their rhythm. If they get to 10 wins, I think that's their ceiling this year, to be honest with you.
Right.
I just, again, like if we just hope that Aiden can come back healthy, because
Right.
that's such a traumatic injury. Like it's so tough to really kind of get your footing, and
Right.
so it might just take a while. And they probably should, not going to rush him back whatsoever.
Right. Well, their first games on the road at Green Bay, And they get the Bears at home, but the Bears almost beat them at home last year, so that's gonna be a tough one. And then they go to Baltimore in week 3, so that's a tough kind of first 3 week stretch. And you got the Browns, and then at the Bengals in week 5. So I mean, it's not exactly an easy opening for them. So yeah, I could see them kind of getting out to a slow start, getting their guys back healthy, getting used to the coordinators as well. But yeah, but in that division, I don't know if you could fall too far back because I don't know if you're going to make up a lot of wins at the end of the year playing in places, like Lambeau and playing in Minnesota and things like that. Yeah.
I kind of think this division will take a step back. I think there might be like one clear cut winner in this division, and then the rest are kind of like middling.
Right.
And it's because I just think Detroit, I think is prone to take a step back. Minnesota, I think is prone to take a step back. So it's whether or not Green Bay or Chicago are able
Right.
to really take and build on what they got. So
Right. Yeah, it'll be an interesting year with that division. I think there's just a lot of unknowns. Like we said with Detroit, there's a ton of unknowns. Big old unknown with the Vikings with JJ McCarthy. I feel like the Bears are an unknown every year. Every year, that's like, okay, this could be their year, and then they kind of disappoint. So, is
that
this
happens.
actually going to be their year? And then I think there's a lot of unknowns with the Packers as well. I think a lot of people are overrating the Packers, but you never know. I mean, they're always a solid team as well.
That's true. Okay, two more notes before we get to these lists. Mike Williams is retiring from the NFL, which is kind of a bit of a surprising news that happened. I was fortunate enough to meet Mike Williams in Myrtle Beach one time, right when he was about to get drafted.
Nice,
Um,
nice, yeah,
Former South, well, he went to Clemson, but like South Carolina area. Went to played actually against the same school in high school, against the school that he went to in high school. So
nice.
he's a really cool guy, real chill dude. Just wish him the best. Like I can understand like why he would retire, just because of the fact that built up of injuries, concussion, neck, like all the stuff that he's kind of been dealing with, and just really just honestly just trying to take himself up to keep playing every year. I just, you know, I think that's kind of got the worst of him, to be honest. So
Yeah.
wish him the best in his retirement for sure.
Same. Yeah, I never met the guy, but yeah, I thought he was going to be. I really liked him coming out of Clemson, and then just couldn't stay healthy, like consistently stay healthy. Because there was years where it was like shit, like the Chargers got him and Keenan Allen. If both these guys stay healthy, especially when Herbert stepped in there, it's like this team could do some damage. And just he would get injured or Keenan Allen would get injured. Neither one of them could stay healthy consistently. But I mean, when the dude was healthy, he was just a ball hawk. He was just a guy you throw the ball up. He'd just make plays. Big guy, but quick, fast as well. So yeah, I thought he signed with the Chargers again, right? He was going to
And
give
he
it
just
another go with him.
year after he kind of went around he bounced around a couple teams last year.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of got a raw deal in New York. I don't think him and Rodgers got along, so there was
He
that
was
kind of
definitely the
baggage there
odd
as well.
man out because I mean
Yeah,
they kept bringing in Lazard and all these other guys, so
right,
that kind of
right.
sucked. And then he went to Pittsburgh, and that was not really a great situation there either. And I saw
Yeah,
like the videos that the Chargers team put out, and I thought that was like, oh, he looked really excited to play. But again, I think if your body's just not responding to training, and you just
yeah,
if it's hard to just get up to train and to get ready for the season when you haven't even really been doing the physical part yet in terms of like abuse to your body yet, I think that's when it's like, okay, it might be time to go.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
And then
agreed.
the last note is the Washington Commanders has signed 45-year-old Von Miller.
Right, just
Um,
just hanging on. Yep.
I kind of, as a Commanders fan, I was kind of like, man, why? Because like I would prefer like Zadarius Smith or Preston Smith,
Right,
as if we wanted to get additional edge help. But
right.
the more I look at it, obviously like he is a very situational pass rusher.
Oh, 100
So
percent. Yeah,
I think how we want to use him will be in the fourth quarter. Maybe a couple snaps throughout the game and just let him rush. I think he had 6 sacks last year. Not obviously watching the 6 sacks he had were not against the best opponents. So it's like take that for a grain of salt as you want. But again, like he still can win. He was the founder of the Pass Rush Summit. So I think maybe even him as kind of like a player coach to help kind of develop some of these younger guys to with their pass rush move could be benefit for them. So it could be multifaceted. There's also a chance he might not even make the roster as well, depending on
yeah,
if
for
a
sure.
younger guy were to step up and really um, explode. And I really hope John Baptiste does this year. Um, but same time, like I wouldn't, take it too much because I think, in terms of like the Trey Hendrickson, I really wanted us to be aggressive for that or TJ Watt. But I think we already down to 5 draft picks already this year again. So it's like I
Right.
don't think we want to give up even more capital or then pay, $30+ million to 31-year old edge rushers so for long term. So
Right.
it was definitely like not the greatest ideas. Obviously, we're still trying to build our roster, build the young guys up. So I feel like this is a decent signing after me going through uh, my process.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, and I'm kind of with you there. I think he's more of a guy to have like in the locker room for the young guys. He's a guy. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Super Bowl MVP, one of the best kind of pass rushers for like a 4, 5, 6 year run there with the Broncos, and even actually he's 2 time Super Bowl champion because then he went to the Rams and got a ring as well, but won the MVP. So I think he's just a good guy to have in the locker room. A lot of knowledge he could bring on, and you got a lot of young guys on that defense, so he's going to help out with that. And then, yeah, it's very low risk. Like you said, he may not even make the team coming out of training camp. And so you're not spending a lot for him, but you can still kind of get whatever juice you can get out of him. And this is probably like his last go around. Like if he makes the team and plays for you guys, this will probably be his last season. So, and yeah, just kind of get whatever juice you can get out of the squeeze there and see what he's got left in the tank.
Yeah, maybe Von Miller, the GM, can join our scouting ranks after he's done
There
playing.
you
'Cause
go.
I expressed a lot of interest in wanting to be a GM in the league. So,
Yeah. Yeah. He seems
um,
like a smart guy too.
oh, very. Yeah. I mean, he loves ball. I mean, I like the fact that, like, similar to what they did with the tight end university, like he tried to, he set up a pass rush summit. And I think he hasn't like been the like leader of it. I
Mhm.
think he kind of passed it off a little bit over the last couple of years, but yeah, like, he's definitely like really done a good job of just kind of
Right.
helping the younger guys and just being influential for them. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's get into these top tens. By these
Do it.
unanimous or not unanimous, anonymous
Anonymous.
uh,
Yeah.
uh, executives and coaches that don't want to put their names to this report every year, but we appreciate this because it's interesting to see what the league thinks of these players. So you got Jamar Chase taking over the number one spot at wide receiver. He was, I think, last year was three, so he jumps from 3 to 1. You got Justin Jefferson dropping from one, now he's down to two. Tyreek Hill at three. Last year he was at two, and let's see, CD Lamb was four. This year he dropped down from three. Oh, no, he was four last year, so he stayed at four. His highest ranking was three. AJ Brown was six last year. Now he's up to five. Amon St. Brown was seven from last year, up to six. Malik Neighbors not even ranked, unranked last year to
Yep.
seven. So, which is crazy. Nico Collins went from I think it's honorable mention last year to eight. Mike Evans last year was eighth, now dropped down to nine. And Garrett Wilson, who was honorable mention last year, is 10. And then this year's honorable mentions on this list is Terry McLaurin, Puka Nakua, Brian Thomas Jr., DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, and Devontae Adams. So,
Hmm.
yeah. And then they also have also receiving votes is Devontae. If you want to keep going further down,
Oh,
Devontae
geez.
Smith, Lad McConkey, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jamison Williams, DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, Jalen Waddle, and Cortland Sutton.
Okay.
What are your
Yeah.
initial thoughts of this top 10 for wide receivers?
For wide receivers, I thought it was. I mean, I feel like you're splitting hairs with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Like, if you want to put one of them one and the other one two, or vice versa, I don't really have any issue.
Fair.
My first kind of biggest issue was at three. I don't think Tyreek Hill is the third best wide receiver in the league anymore.
No,
Like, I
not
think
at
this is,
all.
yeah, this is more like based on what he's done. Because last season wasn't great. I had him on fantasy football team. I know it's not all about fantasy football and those stats, but he wasn't great at that. And I feel like he's fallen off this year. And I think, like he said, like what was it, 2 years ago, he wanted to retire in like 3, 4 years. So I don't even know how focused he is. So that's I wouldn't have him top three. CD Lamb 4, I got no problem with that. AJ Brown 5, got no problem there. Amon Ra, I love Amon Ra. So at 6, I'm okay with that. Malik Neighbors is the guy I think can make the biggest jump this year from 7 to maybe like top 3 or 4. Because obviously it's going to depend on Russell Wilson or Jackson Dart or Jameis Winston, whoever's the quarterback there. But he's the guy I think that could make the biggest jump because the other guys are kind of set where they're at. Like, I don't know if CD Lamb can make a jump over Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, but I think Malik Neighbors can kind of get into that top 5, top 4. And Nico Collins, I think, could potentially get there too. So I think those two guys are kind of like I would see the biggest risers. Biggest fallers, I think, will be obviously Tyreek Hill. And then, as we talked about earlier, Garrett Wilson 10. I thought that was a little high. I don't know if he's a top 10 wide receiver right now. I probably would take the guys that they list as their honorable mention, whether it's McLaurin, Puka, Brian Thomas Jr., or even like T. Higgins as well over Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, my biggest critiques is Tyreek Hill, Malik Neighbors, Mike Evans, and Garrett Wilson. I think, honestly, I think Mike Evans and Garrett Wilson could be completely off this list. Malik Neighbors, I think he's really good, right? I think he is a really good, talented receiver, but I also think he is a product of there's no one else around. I'm just going to throw it to him like 25 times a game.
True.
And don't get me wrong, he's good enough to be able to get himself open and to be able to get these targets and yada yada. I just think after the 1 year one that he had, like, I'm just not there. Tyreek Hill could be, honestly, I could drop Tyreek Hill completely off the top 10. But again, it's like, obviously with the receivers, it's like, obviously, depending on how good your counterpart is, like your quarterback, it really could affect how good people perceive you. Obviously, not that much with this list because, we got Malik Neighbors on this list. We got Garrett Wilson on this list.
Right.
Yeah. So, obviously for me, Terry McLaurin had one of his best years last year. I think he's more than deserving to be in the top 10. And he has done it for a sustained period of time with terrible quarterbacks until this year when he actually got a difference maker quarterback. Puka Nacua is an absolute dog. Like, dude is like a problem trying to be able to get hit off, like, for people to cover him. Mike Evans last year, yes, he did everything in his power to make sure he continued his 1,000-yard streak.
Right.
But they tried to throw to this man 5 times to get to just 1,005 yards. Like, come on, man. Like, don't get me wrong, he's still a problem. Like, he's still good, but he's a little bit more banged up. Like, he's still Mike Evans. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to disrespect him in his Hall of Fame career, but I just think that, like, I would have Puka and Terry McLaurin both over Mike Evans. And, like, Brian Thomas Jr., I think, is, like, legit. Like, I was a big fan of Brian Thomas Jr. over Malik Neighbors coming out of the draft. Like, I was like, man, something about him. He was 6'4". He ran a 4.3. Like, always, beating guys over the top for these deep passes. Like, it was something about him. I was like, this guy's special. And I really think he is. Like, I think Brian Thomas Jr. will be probably one of the top 2, Obviously, again, we're talking about 2 more LSU receivers who probably just going to say Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase in a couple years or whatever. So, but those are my biggest qualms. Like, I definitely will find a way to fit Terry and Puka in there no matter what. And I'm okay with dropping off Garrett Wilson, and I'm okay with dropping off Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, it's Tyreek Hill still got the speed, yada yada." But, like, again, like, obviously, when he's good, when Tua is good, right? But then at the same time, when Tua is not good, he's not. So it's like, how can you measure, like, the talent of a true, like, wide receiver 1? Like, a good wide receiver 1 can be good with a bad quarterback. Just saying.
Yeah, and I think you saw it last year. Like 2 years ago, he had a really good year. Last year, he really fell off, and I just think it's going to kind of continue. And we've talked about this on other shows. Like, I'm not high on the Dolphins, and so I think he can kind of go down with that ship a little bit. And for top 3, I don't agree with that. I would maybe still have him like 10, but I wouldn't be upset if Puka or even McLaurin or even Brian Thomas Jr. I think this list is a little bit of, like, past results instead of, like, future results that they're thinking they're getting out of people. Because like if you're just doing future results, you don't have Tyreek Hill on there, you don't have Mike Evans on there, and then yeah, but it's weird. Then you have Malik Neighbors on there, so it's like okay, he only played 1 year, so this was kind of a weird list overall. Love Mike Evans, but yeah, I think they got his 1,000 yards when they got the ball back against the Saints, and they could have just taken a knee and the game would have been over. But they threw him like a little 5 yard out route, and he got his 1,000 yards. So yeah, they were trying to do everything they could. It was kind of like a Russell Westbrook triple double there, trying
Mhm.
doing everything they could to get that stat. But he's still amazing, but not a top 10 wide receiver right now. And yeah, I think there's at least 3 guys on the honorable mentions: McLaurin, Puka, and Brian Thomas Jr. that I would take over him, and Garrett Wilson, and maybe even uh, Tyreek Hill as well, like you said.
Yeah, I might even throw AJ Brown in there because I'm kind of a hater. Okay, let's go into the corners. So we got the top 10 corners here. We got Patrick Surtain, Derek Stingley, Denzel Ward, Trent McDuffie, Sauce Gardner, Christian Gonzalez, J.C. Horn, Jalen Johnson, Quinyon Mitchell, and Devin Witherspoon. I can tell you this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Quinyon Mitchell is way too high.
Yeah, for sure.
Denzel Ward is kind of like I would have said this about Denzel Ward a couple years ago, but he hasn't been the same. I'm okay with Sauce 5. Yeah. I might even put. I think JC Horn is a better corner than Sauce, and I might even put Christian Gonzalez over. Like there's a technical, more fluid guys. Like they're definitely like that next gen. But 1 and 2, Surtain and Stingley is perfect for me. Like they're obviously Surtain's defense player of the year. I think Devin Witherspoon doesn't get enough credit. He did have a bit of a down year last year, but I think he's still a dog. Trent McDuffie's really good as well. Like I would put probably Trent McDuffie at 3. I probably, you know what? I would probably I'd do Surtain, Stingley, Duffy, J.C. Horn, and I'm not a big fan of Sauce, to be honest. I'll probably put him, but I'm still salty that we didn't draft Christian Gonzalez. He should have been a commander. He should have been a damn commander. Got the worst drafter in NFL history in Ron Rivera. I will never forgive Ron Rivera for how bad he stepped back our organization by literally zoning in on one of the smallest corners in the draft. And when you had a surefire prospect right in front of you, we could have had Christian Darrisaw. We could have had JOK. But we got all these guys who are not even in the league anymore. They're lifting lumber at Lowe's right now because they don't know how to play football.
Yeah, that's funny you bring that. I remember that draft because the Patriots, I think, had like the 13th pick, and they traded back. And I was like, get Christian Gonzalez. And they traded back. I was like, that's probably out. Like the Steelers are going to get him, or the Redskins or the Commanders are going to get him. And then you guys took the kid out of Mississippi State. I'm blanking on his name.
Emmanuel Forbes. There we go. 6'1", 166-pound cornerback. Absolutely disgraceful. If we were going to get there was other corners that I really liked too. I wanted Joey Porter Jr. and I wanted Christian Gonzalez. Or I wanted Devontae Banks. Between those 3, I was like, these would be fine. Like you could even trade back. Like either of those guys we could have got.
Yeah, because I think we traded behind you guys and we were the next pick. As soon as you guys picked him, I was like, don't screw this up. Just go to the window and take Christian Gonzalez. He's the best, probably the best player on the board at that point. He was definitely the best corner on the board at that point. I was like, this is I was shocked, and he's been great. I would have him in the top 5, not just being biased because he's on my team, but I would have him over Sauce because I think he's a more complete corner versus Sauce Gardner.
Fluid, great feet.
Yeah, great feet.
Like if he didn't get hurt, he would have been even like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like it pissed me off because again, let me tell you another thing that we did. We had the 12th pick in the draft. We traded back with the New Orleans Saints. You know who I wanted that year because we needed a receiver? Chris Olave. Guess who traded up to get Chris Olave? The New Orleans Saints. And the pick that we had, it would have been perfect. Right. We traded back and got Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson's not even on our team no more.
Right. Oh man. Yeah. I feel your pain. Though, because we drafted a 3rd round guard in the 1st round with Cole Strange. That was so bad. I was just like, I didn't even heard of the guy. He's like, he went to like Tennessee, Chattanooga or some shit like that. And I was like, so I feel your pain there. But now we're looking at this corner list. I think, 1 and 2, just like the wide receivers, I think is kind of separated themselves with Stingley and Sertan, and then Denzel Ward, like you said, I feel like he's him and Miles Garrett are kind of just like holding down that defense. It's kind of just like there's some other decent players, but they're holding down that defense and they're kind of holding down that team at this point as well. Trent McDuffie, solid player, like really good cover corner. I really liked him out of Washington as well. So that's solid. But yeah, I would have Sauce 6. Then I would probably go Gonzalez. I would have Gonzalez 5, and maybe even Sauce 7 behind JC Horn as well.
Now,
I like
JC Horn
JC
doesn't get
Horn.
enough respect, but like he
Yeah.
legit is a lockdown corner. The only issue he's had is his feet and his knees because he hasn't been able to stay healthy. But he is so sticky in coverage. Dude is absolutely good in the terrible secondary that the Carolina Panthers have.
Right, exactly. And then Quinyon Mitchell, he had a good rookie season. I think it's a little premature to have him in the top
He
10.
had a good year. Everyone's trying to bring this Guantanamo Bay thing, but people don't realize he had so much safety help over the top of him.
So that defense is, yeah, for sure.
God, it pisses me off.
That defense, I mean, he had Blankenship back there, and now they're going to have with DeJean there. I mean, that defense, he's a really good player, but their defense it makes him look so much better. You get great pass rush up front, too, with Jalen Carter, and yeah, Milton Williams. Yes, great player, great rookie season. Is he a top 10 corner in the league right now? I would probably say no. Like, if you put him on one of these other teams, like you put him on you switch him and Christian Gonzalez with the Patriots, I think Christian Gonzalez is even that much better on that team. And then are you really talking about Quinyon Mitchell that much on a defense that wasn't good last year? I don't know if you are.
Yes. Also, the honorable mentions, we got Jalen Ramsey, Marlon Humphrey, who had a really good year, Trayvon Diggs, AJ Terrell. I love AJ Terrell. I think Byron Murphy Jr. should be in the top 10 because he had an absolute spectacular year last year. L'Jarius Sneed, and that's your honorable mentions there. So yeah, I mean, there's a few people that will switch up with. Like, I think Witherspoon should go. I think Quinton Minchester shouldn't be in here. I think Murphy deserves a chance to get it up here. Jalen Johnson is like, he's solid. Again, he's like one of those guys who's like, he gets a bad rep for being on a bad team.
Right.
And so, but he is a really good corner. That's definitely a really good hit for him as well for the Chicago Bears. Too bad, his counterpart Stevenson is kind of
a little bit. Do you want to look at any? Do we look at quarterbacks? You want to look at running backs at all from this list?
Yeah. So this is my issue with the quarterback list, right?
Right.
I think the people. This might get. I don't care. People still think I think people have Patrick Mahomes like penned in on the number one quarterback list just because of his team greatness.
Right.
But if we're talking about like quarterbacks by themselves, like in terms of like how great they were, I think that Patrick Mahomes is number 3.
Yeah. And you know what? I think I kind of agree with that. Is especially the last 2 seasons, like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have been better players than Patrick Mahomes the last 2 years. I know Lamar kind of does his playoffs things where he doesn't play well in the playoffs, and Patrick Mahomes gets the wins. But yeah, I mean, Patrick Mahomes also has Andy Reid. He also has Steve Spagnuolo. Also just kind of has that team that's much better. So yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I still think the 3 is kind of on their own. Like you have those 3 and they're kind of separated.
That's what we call elite. Like they are in the elite category, no doubt about it. And until Jaden Daniels enters that year, I'm
glad you brought him up. Yeah, I thought it was a little premature to have him top 5 after 1 year. Now
who's a better quarterback in the NFC right now?
Well, and it's the end of. But that's the thing, though. I feel like you got your top 3, and then you got your 4. I think everybody can kind of agree that Joe Burrow's the 4th. So that 5th spot's kind of wide open. You can kind of put like 6 guys there, and you wouldn't. You put Jaden, you could put Jalen Hurts, you could put some people put Herbert, but
we need a whole show just to talk about Jalen Hurts because that's such a like for me. People talking about why he should be 1. I'm like, brother, he was not that good. Like everyone wants to highlight how he went to the Super Bowl and he had his best game in the Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong, he did. He had a great game in the Super Bowl. He did. Obviously, he plays his best against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Right. But let's not act like Jalen Hurts was the key catalyst for this team getting to the playoffs. He
No, no,
did
no,
play
no, not
better
at all.
for playoffs. Don't get me wrong.
Right,
Like he beat us. I can't, he beat us, right? So
right.
I can't, but at the same time, it's like, brother, he's not a top five. Don't get me wrong. And that's not disrespecting what he's done, right? But he's just not like a top. He's just not that guy. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like
Well,
he's
that
a guy with
yeah,
that's great supporting cast.
right. Well, I think that's kind of the debate. That's like, who do you put at 5? And I think they're just like, hey, you know what? If I need a guy for the next 5 years, it's those 4 guys, and then it's Jaden Daniels. Is why they did, because Stafford you could put there, but Stafford's getting old. So do you really want to put him at 5? Justin Herbert, I need to see him
That's
actually
a little
win a
too
big
high.
game.
A little too high.
Yeah, yeah, he needs to actually win it and play well in a big game for me to actually put him in the top 5.
I
Like
would
he's
put
got the
everybody
talent.
over him. Like I would put Herbert
Yeah,
at 10 maybe because I think Baker's been better than Herbert. I
yeah.
think I would
Goff's
even put
been
Jalen
better.
Hurts for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I have Jalen Hurts probably like 6 or 7. 5's tough for me. I've been back and forth. Like I said, I thought it was a little too premature because I think a lot of people would have had CJ Stroud like 6 or 7 last year. And then that kind of fell off. He had kind of a down year. So I don't think that the same thing's going to happen to Jaden Daniels, but I'd like to see like, back to back years where you're having that kind of level of play. But yeah, because I think what is it? 6 is who is 6? 6 is Stafford. 7 is Herbert. Yeah, I think I would have Herbert a little bit lower. 8 is Goff. 9, Jalen Hurts, and then 10 is Baker. I think Baker's a little underrated.
I
I
think
think
he should be higher. He
yeah,
should
I
be
think
higher.
he should be.
He was in the
Yeah,
MVP race last year.
he was in the MVP race, and he's just like he's resurrected his career in Tampa Bay. I know he plays with great receivers, but man, he's put up some really good numbers, and he's been consistent. Where it's like, and he's been able to run the ball a little bit too. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's probably 7. I would probably have it Jalen 6 and him 7. I get the Jalen because like Jalen's on like a super team basically, and he just needs to show up in the big games and not kind of shit the bed a little bit. And then he plays great in the biggest games where like the regular season where you watch Eagles play and it's Saquon Barkley, it's that defense. You're getting to Jalen Hurts like the 5th or 6th thing, and he's got 2 great wide receivers as well. So I'd say 6 is probably good for me with Jalen, and then yeah, probably about Baker, Stafford, Goff, and then I'd probably have Herbert to round out the top 10 just because I think Herbert's got all the skills to do it, but I need to see him actually beat the Chiefs, actually win a big game, and actually play well in a big game
I
before I
think
can just kind
his
of put him
biggest
up there.
downfall for Justin Herbert is Quentin Johnson. And also, I
Yeah,
mean, I think it's just kind of unfortunate the receiver core they put around him. Obviously, I
right,
love Lad McConkey. I think he will be a top 10 receiver really soon. He's
right,
that good. He's a
right,
cold boy. Obviously,
right,
Georgia made. So
right. No,
yeah, it's just too early right now for him.
too early. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
right?
as I say, like the running backs like that list is not super hard. I feel like you have to put Saquon at 1 just because of last year
Do
is going to
you?
be the
Do
as
you?
I think they had to, but I wouldn't be hurt. But I think yeah, they have Saquon 1, Derrick Henry 2. I wouldn't be shocked if neither one of those guys are top 5 by the end of the year because Derrick's getting a little bit older. Saquon could fall off. I think 3, Jameer Gibbs. That's a guy I could look out for to make a
That's
huge
way
jump.
too low. For me, if you
Yeah,
ask me, Jameer Gibbs is number one. He's
he's
number one on my running back list.
Yeah, he's probably going to be a top fantasy guy because of what he can do out of the backfield. Like he's probably going to be the top fantasy running back. Bijan Robinson was 4. I like Bijan, but I still haven't seen him kind of like really pop. So I don't know if I'd have him at 4. And then Chris McCaffrey at 5 is too high. Like
Wait, it
it's
shouldn't
too
be
much uncertainty.
should be on the
Eh,
list. To be honest with you.
No, yeah, I would say Josh Jacobs at 6 is way too low. Josh Jacobs should be like 4.
Josh Jacobs is a guy that like I feel like I disrespect, maybe not on purpose, because like I do like Josh. Like obviously that year that he had like that amazing like offensive player of the year season he had with the Raiders was great. But like I don't know, it's just something about Josh Jacobs. It's not like a sexy running back, but and like I just feel like maybe it's just I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know what it is about him.
I think you're right because he's not the sexiest running back. He's just kind of consistent. And I mean, look at the numbers he put up in Vegas with just terrible quarterback play. So everybody knew he was their top guy. So I just think he's been consistent. He's not a guy that's going to blow you away with his stats. Like you're not going to look at his stats and be like, damn, but he's just consistent. And I just feel like those two top guys in Saquon and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's got to fall off at some point, right? He's going to be 32 years old. He's so
That's what
big.
Max Kellerman said about Tom Brady.
It's true. That's true. And yeah, you can clip that. I'm not going to say he's going to fall off a cliff, but like it's got to happen at some point because just the size of him and his age. And then Saquon, I just don't think you could back up that year. There's going to be so much pressure to back up that year. I think he'll still have a good year, but is he the best running back right now? I think they had to put him there, but like
I'm telling you right now, the top 3 running backs after this year will be Jahmyr Gibbs, Amarian Hampton, and Bijan Robinson.
Ooh. I'm gonna throw some Bucky Irving in there. That's a guy I'm
the
targeting.
Bucky Irving train. Here we go.
I'm right. I'm like conducting that train right now. I'm on that train.
Dude, I'm fading that train so hard.
Oh no way! I think he takes over the job. No sharing carries with Rachaad White. He's gonna be the guy. I like.
Huh? Last thing for we gotta wrap it up.
Yeah.
My concern about Bucky Irving is the Tony Pollard effect. When you become the guy and the load is all on you, can you carry it? And I just don't know.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Because I think that's going to be the case this year. They'll throw the ball a ton because they just got a ton of receivers.
I think Sean Tucker is actually really – I think if Sean Tucker ever gets some run, I really like Sean Tucker in Tampa Bay. I thought he was phenomenal when he actually got to play for them. Yeah. So the same as Tyler Algier, like another a guy who's kind of buried, and Zach Charbonnet, running backs that are buried on their depth, not buried because they're like backups, they're like the number 1 backup, but like they were the guy at one. Not Sean Taylor, but you know what I mean. So like guys that they were good, they are good running backs, especially Tyler Algier. He was a 1,000-yard running back, and they drafted Bijan the next year. Like that is
right. Yeah, no, I like, but yeah, I think Bijan, that was another guy too. Like I thought he was a little high because I thought he was going to be awesome out of Texas, and I think he has been really good.
He's been really good. He's been really good. Especially last year, I think he really established himself, but he wasn't. I think his expectations were like what Saquon did, and I think he's still damn Bijan is like Josh Jacobs right now. They're very similar, but they're they're workhorses for that offense right now.
Oh, big time. Yeah. And it helps having Algier there to kind of take that load off. I think this could be this should be a big year for it's a big pressure year for all that offense in Atlanta. Kyle Pitts, him, Drake London, Michael Penix. So it's if they all can pop, maybe Atlanta actually has something there. But yeah, not a huge issue with the running back list. I think the 2 guys at the top might take a step back.
For sure. All right. Well, thank you, Cody. This has been From the Sidelines here every Sunday from 8 o'clock. Next week is training camp, so football is only going to pick up from here. Our content will get better and better because we have more stuff to talk about games. It's going to be an action-packed hour every single Sunday as we get into the season. But thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you guys next Sunday, and have a great rest of your night.